Hello and welcome to the Geek Cause podcast, episode numero
17?
I don't know 17 in Spanish.
Well, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, cuatro, siete? And then 10 is, I don't know. Welcome to episode 17 of the Geek Cause podcast. That's all you could have said instead of trying to make it difficult for everyone.
I always want to make it difficult.
Why don't you just say it in Irish, since you're Irish, instead of Spanish?
The effort of that.
The effort of...
Yeah.
The effort of that, but you can try to pretend that you know Spanish enough to get up to... Oh, how is everyone doing today on this lovely morning for us? A little bit under a week before Halloween.
Yeah, it's not far away.
I'm excited for Halloween. You know I love to get spooky.
You're spooky enough, Cody.
I don't know how to take that, so I'll only take it in a positive way.
You do that.
Now, please enlighten me and tell me how great today's topics are for the podcast, as that's a staple tradition.
You're usually the one who likes to just say they're great.
Yeah, but now
with no reason why they're great.
Well, why don't you give a little rundown? What do you think?
Blind trust. I think the topics are pretty good this week.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty good.
A lot of, I get, not really controversial stuff, more just, yeah, kind of controversial, but then at the same time, just good information, and just some sort of ways that things are being done that you wonder if it's the right call or not.
Some things that raise questions. Some things that are just okay. That you don't really have any real questions about. They just kind of are, and you kind of go, yeah, well, whatever you want to do, you do that, but I'm just going to back away slowly.
Some of them try to answer questions. I don't know how well they do, but they try.
Yeah. Looking at you, Blizzard.
But other than that, please enlighten us on your life now.
My life?
Tell us how everything's going. Tell everybody why we're recording a day early, even though they don't know this, and I didn't need to say it, but I said it anyways.
You said it anyways, so we are recording this a day early. We're doing that because I'll be gone. Forever. Forever being 2 days.
Forever being 2 days.
Because I have to go from the humble countryside to the big city.
The rustling city of Dublin.
For induction and training for my new place of employment.
That we had talked about previously.
We talked about this previously.
So this is interesting because we're recording it early, right? And it feels so off right now, if I'm being honest.
I feel so, really weird.
I feel so, not as in the mindset as I usually am, which is really odd because usually I'm really pretty ready to go and stuff like that. But right now I'm like, feeling a little tired, feeling like, what's going on? I don't know. This feels odd to me. And then at the same time though, I'm like, oh no, what if something comes out like tomorrow? That's
what I was thinking. It's why I left it so late to put my topics up, because I was like, something's gonna come. Something's gonna happen.
It's like you always have to deal with that sort of presence in your mind, anyways, that can happen. But when you're doing it even earlier than you think, so it's been less than, it's been 6 days since we recorded the last podcast. So we don't even have a full 7 days to get,
oh God,
that extra bit of info in. Luckily there's a bunch of stuff, good stuff to talk about, but there's a lot of stuff coming out, but that's what makes me worried that the minute we finish this, we're gonna have some huge
something
breaking
massive's
news
gonna come out, and it's like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's generally how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels a little odd.
It feels weird. It's usually Nintendo that does that to us, though.
Nintendo always does
whenever
that.
We finish recording, it will come out in 15 minutes ago, Nintendo has made an announcement.
We're gonna find out right after this podcast is recorded that Diablo 4 is gonna be on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. It's gonna be confirmed. It's gonna be
That's the only thing.
There's gonna be a trailer and gameplay.
Diablo 4 isn't gonna be confirmed. Just Diablo 4 on Nintendo
on the
Switch.
Yeah. Nothing else.
Have your life.
God. So yeah, that's what's going on in my life. That's
exciting.
2 long days ahead of me.
I mean, you'll smash it. It'll be easy.
Oh, I know I will.
I mean, you don't really have to do anything, I don't think.
No, all it is they're going to show us how to use the company computers. They're going to give us our logins and stuff like that.
God.
Show us how to use the tills. And then do
you have to go all the way to Dublin for this? You know what it is? You know what? I've had to do stuff like this before too, where you have to go to a different store or whatever when you're working somewhere in retail. And it's because they don't have people there that want to do the training, or they don't trust people there to do the training.
Yeah.
So they send you to a store where there's like someone that like does like consistent training. I remember one time I had to ride my bike an hour and a half in like freezing weather in February to get to a Meijer that I was working at, which is basically just a Walmart, like a little bit pricier Walmart. And I had to ride all the way there to go to like training because the store that I was getting hired in wasn't even finished being put together yet. It was being built.
Nice.
And so they were training everyone at that store. And I remember I went there and like we did it all, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well we're gonna head off." And like I remember the training chick was talking to me, and she says something like that. "Oh, we're gonna go there. You guys can take your cars and drive down." And then I was like, "All right." And as I was going, she's like, "Oh, you just walking down? So it's pretty chilly." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I rode my bike here." And she goes, "What?" She's like, "Where'd you ride from? You like in town?" And it was like in an area that I had just moved to, so I had no idea.
So you didn't
stop and keep looking at my phone. Because my phone had the GPS and I couldn't stop looking at it. It was tragic. It was so tragic. And she goes, "Oh my God." She's like, "I think I'm going to give you a ride back to like your place afterwards. Like you could just leave your bike here and maybe go pick it up later," or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds nice." Because it was freezing.
That sounds nice in your head. You're like, "Yes, please."
And I had to do it at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
like, I'm really looking forward to this, because I'll be working in Nath, and I'm doing it in PC World, but my training is done in Carphone Warehouse, because PC World owns Carphone Warehouse, and that's where I have to do it for some reason. So I have to get a train for an hour to Dublin, and then maybe travel within the city for an hour to get to where I need to go, when there's a Carphone Warehouse about 20 minutes from PC World in Nath. So I don't know why they're sending me to Dublin for this.
I mean, on a positive note, though, like, at least look at it as that it's in Dublin and it's somewhere where you can get a train.
Yeah. I know where I'm going as well, because it's in, like, an Omni shopping centre. Its name is Shopping Centre. It's actually about 10 minutes from the college that I went to. I used to go there all the time to the subway.
See, that's the thing that people, like, don't seem to realize about the States is, like, there's a positive and there's a negative to the fact that there's so many cities and so many things in each of the cities. Is that, like, for me, though, like, I don't have, like, if you don't have a car, but the place that you gotta go is in a city away or something like that, you don't have a train that you take. Like, you find a way to get there. Like, you have to, like, get a cab or, like, an Uber or public transportation.
I'll have to get up at, like...
If it goes there.
I'll have to get up at, like, 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, it's so tragic.
To get there, because I have to be there the training starts at 9:30. But I have to be there 15 minutes beforehand. So pretty much I want to be there at about 9 o'clock to figure out where I'm going.
Yeah,
so it's like, it's great.
That's the part that sucks about Dublin too, is that even if you had a vehicle that you wanted to like take in there, you wouldn't want to take it into Dublin.
Yeah, you didn't want to. Like, even if I had a car and could drive, it's like I'd still just get the train up.
Yeah, most people don't want to drive in Dublin because it's not fun.
No, it's really not.
It's never fun driving in a big city though, but...
Like the last time I drove through Dublin, it was, went to a rugby match with a mate of mine. And driving out of it was like the scariest experience ever. Because we had no idea where we were going.
Especially, well, first of all, that's the biggest thing for me is, like, you never know where you're going because there's, like, 16 different turnoffs everywhere. And then, like, they're not marked. Probably they'll be like, this way to go to, let's just say, like, this way to Kildare. And then it'll be, like, another sign right next to it, this way to Kildare. And you're like,
which one do I go? And you'll be driving along and the signs...
East Kildare.
and the signs will just be, this way to Sligo.
And you're like, I don't want to go to Sligo.
I have to go that direction to get back to Kildare.
Yeah. That's that, and it's really tragic. I hate it. And then also to make matters worse, people in this country don't know how to drive. No offense,
they don't.
Irish listeners, but like even everyone that I know that is Irish says how bad the drivers are here.
Atrocious.
And it's bad when your own people are like, oh, it's bad. And I went to the States and I felt like it was easy. They're like, David. My brother-in-law, your uncle.
Yes, I know who he is.
he was saying how when he drove a truck in Florida, he's like, it was pretty bad driving in Florida, but that was because it was like a 4 or 5 lane highway. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, I mean, that's bad. But like, other than that though, it's like, it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. People here are just nuts. They just don't care.
It's madness. And when you're dealing with like small country roads, that are about a car wide.
I just don't.
And there's no lines, and there's grass growing in the middle of the road. And the speed limit is 90 kilometers an hour.
No, the speed limit is 60 kilometers an hour, and everyone goes about 100.
Yeah. There's some country roads that have like 70 to 80 kilometer an hour, like speed limits.
There's a reason why, even though I have my international driver's license, I don't drive in this country.
Oh yeah, it's like...
Cause it's spooky.
It really is. It's scary.
It's spooky. So, anyways, off that topic. Yeah, cool. You have stuff going on in Dublin. I'm super excited for you to get that done.
Yeah.
And now our podcast recording days are probably all going to be mixed up, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. You're going to have to just do your due diligence, and you might have to have a day where you do the podcast before work.
Exactly.
Suck it up, Buttercup. This is the real world. That's how it's going to be once I go back to America.
Yeah. I know. Like, we're going to have like, obviously both everything else going on, and then like the time difference as well.
The time difference, both of us working and or school or whatever.
It's
and
like, we're gonna have to rotate between who has to do like the late version.
Okay, so today I'll do the late version. I know that you work 12 hours, but like we have to get at least an hour. That's when everyone's gonna be like, man, the podcast isn't like 2 hours long anymore. What's going on? 45 minutes of us just trying to get anything.
It's because it's like, oh, I have to be in work in like 20 minutes and I have to record for about 40.
It'll be exciting.
Oh, it's going to be great. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my life. Only thing that's going to get me through this week is the fact that The Outer Worlds is out this 25th.
Oh, I forgot The Outer Worlds is out.
That's out midnight on Thursday and I cannot wait. I have it downloaded. Ready to go.
Well, I'm so glad that you can afford all these games and play that we talk about on the podcast.
The thing is, I didn't actually buy it. The great thing about Xbox is it's on Game Pass. So I had Game Pass, I bought it for €10 this month. So I get The Outer Worlds. Just download it, because it's there.
I need to do that because Game Pass for the first time that you do it is $1 still.
Yep. I got mine for 3 months for €1.
So what happens? So as long as you have it,
as long as you have your subscription, you have access to the full catalog of games. Subscription.
It's not like you said pluscription. I'm gonna go back and edit this, and if I hear pluscription, you're gonna call me out. I'm gonna call you on the phone and add it into the podcast of me saying, bro, you said pluscription.
I'll be at my training tomorrow and I'll get a phone call like, sorry, give me a minute. I'll answer it, and you screaming down the phone. That'll make a great impression.
Yeah, so I need to do that. I just need to do it then, and you can play any game then.
Pretty much anything that's on Game Pass. And there's some really good ones on there.
Oh man, I need to do that. I keep putting it off, and I don't know why. Probably I don't know why.
Like I say, it's fully worth the money.
For $1,
with the amount of games that are on it as well. It's pretty good. Like Gears of War 5 was out release date on it.
But I mean, for you, yes. But for me, I'm like whatever. But anything else,
The Outer Worlds, Kingdom Come Deliverance, a bunch of like really old school games as well.
So Game Pass, and also Microsoft, if you sponsor us, we'll talk about it more.
Exactly.
Well, for me, nothing quite as exciting going on. I'm getting the lawn stuff ready for Halloween party that we're having.
Ooh.
So I'm getting all the lawn stuff ready.
I really hope I'm not working the day after.
That'd be really depressing.
I really hope they hold out until November to make me start properly.
You'll have to suck it up.
I know. I have to be an adult now.
But yeah, other than that, no, I study. I'm almost done to the next course that I'm doing for my IT thing, a little Google IT thing. But other than that, no, I've just been looking up news and stuff like that for the podcast because I love to do it. And speaking of that, I'm so interested in our podcast topics this week. Let's get started. After that very long-winded intro. Kyle.
Cody.
Now, if you remember, if it wasn't on last week's podcast, it was definitely on the one before. They're all blend together.
I don't remember. I black out.
But Call of Duty Modern Warfare was called out to have microtransaction loot boxes.
Oh, yes.
Loot boxes in it.
Back during the beta, some people found some stuff on the post-game screens that looked like supply drops, aka loot boxes.
Literally what it is, and I don't know how they're going to get around that unless
maybe it was
like code or something.
Maybe it was leftover code from World War II.
Or that, like they use maybe like the same code, or maybe it was like supply box as in something in the game where you like kind of like a supply drop.
Maybe it's literally just at the end of a game, just a chance to get something random.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a loot box that you can purchase per se.
Who knows what
it's
it
just
was?
Random item.
But we had talked about last week how they came out and they said, no, that's not what it is.
And you called bullshit.
And I called, I did call bullshit. And I think I was pretty justified for calling bullshit on that. Especially when you figure out, like, what actually is going on. But, Kyle, Infinity Ward came out and they said, they put out a post and they said, here is actually what's going on, just so everyone knows. A week before it comes out or whatever. So they're finally letting us know a week before it comes out.
Is it actually next week?
I think it's out like the 25th, isn't it?
It is not, is it?
Listen, I gotta figure this out right now.
I swear to God, I don't have the financial stability
October
right
25th.
now. Oh, my God. So it's out.
Is it on Game Pass?
No, I don't think so, sadly. I wish it was.
But it's out the 25th, and so they finally, a week beforehand, gave us the final specifications, because everyone's been shitting on them for saying, oh, it's gonna be loot boxes, you're lying to us, you're saying that it's not, blah, 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 blah. And they came out, and they said, this is the stuff that's gonna be into it, and this is what we're gonna start seeing. Starting with Modern Warfare, this is what we're gonna start seeing. So this is actually what they plan on doing apparently for the rest of their Call of Duties going forward. So why don't you go ahead and just read through some of the stuff that they got coming for us.
Okay, so they started off with something we kind of knew already, that they'll be introducing crossplay across platforms for the first time.
Now it sounds like, the way that it's worded here, it sounds like they're saying across all platforms.
All platforms, so everything that will be released on, meaning Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. But we're unreally sure, because during the beta, it seemed, on Xbox anyways, it was only between Xbox and PC, which is kind of curious, and we know PlayStation's opinion on crossplay with Xbox. They're very much against it.
They were the ones that tried to pioneer it back in the day, and then when Xbox said no, they were like, all right, well, we don't want to. And then Xbox was like, okay, we'll do it. And they were like, no, now. It's like a child's feud.
Yeah.
Because I remember when everyone was like, Sony's just so much better. Look at how much they're willing to add crossplay to all their games. And then all of a sudden, Microsoft was like, we're going to do that now. And they were like, no.
Yeah, Microsoft's like, oh, we'll have crossplay with everything, with PC, with the Switch, with all of these things. Even you, PlayStation.
And PlayStation was like, no.
No.
Okay, so what else do we see here?
They'll be adding that, as well as removing Season Pass and DLC multiplayer map packs.
So everyone can play together.
So there'll be none of this spend an extra $30 when you buy the game to make sure you get all the DLC content for a year.
And I don't know about you guys, but one of the most frustrating things for me, especially even back in the day when it came to Call of Duty, was when you'd play the game like a year later and they released a bunch of maps, and it took you like 6 years longer to get into a match.
Yeah.
Because people were all playing on the new maps. And I remember there was even in the sort of the middle ground ones, they released options where it would only rotate through the newer maps. It was like, oh, multiplayer mode, DLC maps, because they assumed people had enough of the original maps, so like you could choose a mode where it's like, oh no, I only want to play on these newer maps that I bought.
Yeah.
And so then it segregated the community even more.
Yeah. And I remember like playing like Black Ops and Modern Warfare games and like not having a certain map pack, and my mates having said map pack, and then them just not being able to play on that map because they're playing with me.
Yeah.
It just locks it out for them as well, because obviously I don't have it.
It's just
so we all lost
lockout.
in the end.
Yeah, everyone loses.
It was so dumb.
So removing that,
they're getting rid of that.
In place, they're just making
it all free
post-launch multiplayer maps and modes.
Whenever they release a map or modes, it'll just be free across the board and will be released simultaneously on all platforms.
Now, this really is a big thing, because I think this is one of the biggest issues people have had with DLC content, is not that people can get it, but that it locks out your group of people, that you release a game and you only let a certain portion of them experience it fully. And I feel like I'm not saying everything needs to be free, but what I'm saying is if you plan on releasing more maps, then just make the game a little bit more expensive. Pay $70 straight from the get-go for the full game, and when they release new maps, you'll get it, at least. But don't make a DLC where it's like, oh, you have to spend $20 a year from now, and then another like $20 like in a few months after that.
Yeah.
And then you're segregated from playing with other people if they don't own it. Just make it like free multiplayer maps and modes, and more people will, check it out.
Yeah. There's a little bit of irony in that one as well, saying that, we'll release all post-launch multiplayer maps and modes simultaneously on all platforms. So they're obviously recognizing the importance of the crossplay. That everyone needs to get these at the same time, and everyone has to be able to get them, because that's the point of the game.
And locking out
everyone plays together. But yet they've locked a Spec Ops mode for PlayStation for a whole year.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Which makes zero sense whatsoever.
Unless that somehow is going to change. Like, that makes no sense to me. And it's funny because they obviously realize that people hate when content is locked to a certain console.
Yeah.
I mean, look at like what we were talking about with Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, with like the possible content being locked to PC and PlayStation getting exclusive stuff and Xbox getting nothing special.
And I mean, like, yeah, because if you look at it, like, PC coming out literally has nothing but positives, trumping all of the console versions, 100%.
Without a doubt.
And you're completely disenfranchising your console player base when the game was originally made for consoles.
It's strange. And Infinity were kind of recognizing that they want people to have everything.
But at the same time not recognizing.
Yeah, going, okay, this is really important, but at the same time, we're just going to give this to PlayStation only because...
They must have got so much flack from that they were like, no, we're going to have to release all additional modes and maps, like, at the same time. They must have been like, we've gotten so much flack, we cannot lock anything else out. We'll give Sony this because they paid us.
But anything after that, they can't. I'll see them releasing another mode before Christmas.
Yeah.
I can see them doing that to try and make up for it, because I can see a lot of people kind of just... It's taking a distance from the game because of that. So it'll be interesting to see.
Oh man, I want to play this game so bad because I heard nothing but good things about it.
I'm actually quite excited for it. But one more thing they said they were adding is that there's going to be no loot box system whatsoever, but instead there will be a battle pass system.
Now, this is, I would say, definitely better than...
I consider this a good thing.
Yes, this is better, because no matter what you want to say, like, even with like Fortnite's model when it comes to content, everything is either buy outright or get the battle pass and you can have a chance of unlocking certain things faster, right?
Yeah.
And it's a way of getting those things. Every game is doing it nowadays. I mean, phone games are doing this, that are like super popular.
Like talking about Red Dead added the Outlaw Pass, which is a battle pass.
Nintendo does it with like the Mario Kart game for the phone.
Yeah.
Now they do lock out content with that as well, which is stupid. But it's more like a subscription. But a battle pass, I would say, is kind of like a subscription, because if you get it once, you're kind of wanting to get it again because you realize how good it is to.
Yeah. But the thing is, like with battle passes, I haven't seen one yet that doesn't do this. So the battle pass will cost whatever in-game currency is. So in Call of Duty, you say it's going to be like prestige points or COD points or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Say it'll be like 20 COD points for the battle pass. But throughout the battle pass, you'll get little drops of these points that'll add up to the cost of the next battle pass.
So it can kind of help you get it. And that's
so
what
they kind of go, you pay for this once. If you play it and you keep these points, you'll just get it again next month for free.
It's a way of saying, and that's what I think it is you'll get that too. It's probably going to be further on the battle pass that you'll get it for free to incentivize you to keep playing.
Or a lot of them do it in like dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
So like in Red Dead's version, it was 35 gold bars. And you could get 35 gold bars in the battle pass. But it was done in like 5 gold bars at a time. Every like,
and that's probably what it's going to be. Even like, they came out and they said, with the new battle pass system, they'll be able to earn COD points by playing the game.
Yeah, it is COD points.
There'll be a free stream and premium stream of content, within it. So, obviously it's gonna have the battle pass that just like is like
available
standard,
to everyone.
Where it's like, you slowly earn stuff, and then the battle pass will make it quicker. Now, I'd like to see them implement it in we were talking about this before we started the podcast, but I'd like to see them implement the battle pass in a smart way. So I think with that, the way that it works is, it sucks that there'll be people that will progress quicker than you and get more stuff than you for paying the money. But at the same time, if it's not really things that affect the game itself and more affects like,
I don't even think that it means they'll progress quicker. How I take it as when they say free and premium, it's like how do I describe it? It's like there's two versions of it. So when you boot up your game, you automatically have access to a battle pass, the free version, where you'll get certain items just for playing the game.
Right.
Anyways, through the battle pass, as well as the items you unlock just by leveling up normally. But then you pay and you get extra stuff.
I don't know, because it's hard to say because they haven't really explained exactly what it is. It says functional attachments for base weapons can be unlocked through gameplay as well just as well like in the game's beta. So I'm assuming that, yeah, it's going to be, you get attachments and stuff for weapons when you use them, but then you also can get additional stuff through the...
Yeah, it's like extra unique stuff that will change with every pass.
I think what it is for me is, if they're going to have this battle pass come out, make it decent in terms of like the speed of it. Don't have it take still 17 days worth of grinding to get up there, but also don't have it where you get everything in like 2 days, because then it was like, okay, you take away the whole fun. Like, make it like something.
It's like with Fortnite, if it's like, oh, it's 35 days for this pass, you'll have to play every day for those 35 days to get all of it. But then you look at Red Dead's, you play it for 2 days in some cases and get the entire thing. They need to find that sweet spot in between.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's going to be a 30-day period, but if you play for, say, 2 hours every second day, you'll have enough to do it. You could get through it really quickly if you play 12 hours.
Right.
Obviously, if you play for 4 days straight and nothing else, you'll get through it quickly.
But if they make it, and if they make it so, like, the stuff that is, the premium stuff that is unlocked is maybe skins that you can unlock anyways, but like you get them quicker without having to do the whatever it requires.
Yeah, like get through like level locks, like, oh, this skin is locked until you reach level 30. If you reach level 10 in the battle pass, you'll get it now. If
they say it's not, so if it's not, as long as it's not weapons and attachments and it's just like stuff like, oh, you get extra COD points so you can get a battle pass, which means that you get experience faster, which means you level up faster. You know what? I'm fine with someone leveling up a little bit faster than me, even though like it sucks still, because like they get better stuff before me.
Like so many games have had like XP booster packs.
But like I would take that over they just straight up get a weapon that
is better.
That is better that I can't get like
without paying
or anything like that. So I think that's fine. I appreciate that. I think long story short when it comes to all this is the battle pass is better than loot boxes, and I'm glad to see them keep away from loot boxes. But I still have in the back of my mind, how long until they decide we'll just put in like maybe an occasional, like not make the whole thing a loot box system, but maybe make it so if you get the battle pass,
oh, there's like
then you
have a mystery crate halfway through it.
Yes, you have a chance to get a mystery crate, or if you don't want to buy the battle pass, you can buy a mystery crate for $5. You know what I mean? How long will it be until that happens? It's something that I'm always,
I'd say,
curious about.
It won't happen if they make money off the battle pass. If people buy the battle pass, I don't think they'll do it because they'll make their money. But if it doesn't do as well as they're expecting, I could see it implemented in a few months.
Right. Well, we have, as of when this comes out, actually, it'll be out. But as of today, we have 3 days to wait and then see what happens. And everyone, when you hear this on Friday, if you're playing it, let us know. What do you think? Is it working? Is it fun? Is it good? Is it worth the money that you're investing into it? I don't even think they didn't even say how much it's going to be. So I guess price point too is really going to be a big thing. If it's $30 for it, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's the equivalent. May as well just had a season pass.
Yeah, exactly. So it really makes me just curious. We'll have to wait and see what comes out.
Ooh, but going from one questionable antic of a company to other questionable antics of a company,
back onto Blizzard.
Good old Blizzard are at it again.
So we knew about last week how they canceled the Overwatch event with Nintendo because, well, they didn't say the reason why.
No specified reason, but you can almost guarantee it's because of the
backlash from the Hong Kong stuff.
Yeah. But they've done it again. And they've postponed a World of Warcraft event, I believe.
Yep.
Amid Hong Kong protests. Now again, they didn't specifically say that.
Well, they said that it was originally scheduled for, this weekend, but they pushed it back to whenever.
A later date.
A later date. Now, they didn't give a reason, and people flooded the page with pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong, basically saying, we know what this is about.
Yeah.
It's because of Hong Kong, and you know that you got a bunch of backlash because of what happened with Blitzchung. We know that you're just refusing to do these events because you don't want people to ask questions.
Yeah, people just pretty much calling them out on their crap.
And it makes you really wonder, because people are already organizing protests for BlizzCon. They're talking about how they don't ever want to, like, they're canceling their stuff that they have going on now.
The boycott is still going strong. Like, it hasn't eased up whatsoever.
I see tons of people still talking about doing it. And this is just one more questionable decision that they made. Instead of just going out there and just talking about it and
just facing it, and they could have done this, went out, face the protest, face the backlash, and that would have been the end of it.
They're refusing. It's funny because I feel like we're just parroting what we said last week, but like they're refusing to do the things to fix their mistakes because they don't want to. Because if they fix their mistakes,
then they have to acknowledge that they made a mistake,
and then their investors will be like, "Oh, you made a mistake.
Oh,
supporting us,
stocks drop."
There you go, and they don't want to lose money, and it's
so dumb.
It's sad that this is what's going on, and it's so sad because you have so many people that, like, there's support in all directions that are coming saying, like, Blizzard, you messed up, you're making a dumb mistake. And including in that is some U.S. senators.
Shockingly enough.
And not only U.S. senators, but bipartisan support. And not just bipartisan support, but, like, people who are, like, pretty hard right leaning and pretty hard left leaning.
So pretty much people who hate each other have pretty much went, okay, yeah, Blizzard, we both agree on this, and we don't agree on anything.
Yeah, and they penned a letter to the CEO of Blizzard, Robert Kotick, condemning the company's decision to ban Blitzchung at all. Now, maybe we'll just take a quick look at the actual, like, letter that was sent, just because it's not very long, and it'll just kind of, like,
give you an idea of
a little overview. So this is addressed to Mr. Kotick, and they said, "We write to express our deep concern with Activision Blizzard's decision to make player I don't know how to say his name, Wai Chung, forfeit prize money and ban him for participating in tournaments for a year after he voiced support for pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. This decision is particularly concerning in the light of the Chinese government's growing appetite for pressuring American business to help stifle free speech." Now, they have a good point there. I think they're taking it a little too far by, like, they're trying to make it a little too bit Americanized of, it's pressuring our businesses and stuff like that.
Well, it is America.
But they have a point. It's not just American business. They're stifling a lot of stuff in relation to free speech, and American business that has ties in China, they're definitely doing that. So, I see what they're saying. Activision Blizzard benefits from China's growing market for esports, along with the investment from Tencent, one of China's largest technology firms. As you and your company are no doubt aware, the Chinese government uses the size and strength of its economy to suppress opinions by which it disagrees. Last week alone, the Chinese government targeted Apple for hosting an app to help peaceful demonstrators evade repression, and the National Basketball Association because one team's general manager tweeted in support of Hong Kong protests. And in case you're not following this, not only did you have the Chinese government try to, they banned the app. They tried to, at least.
Yeah. As well as they could.
From being able to be accessed. And all it did was show you where police were going to be for protests. So you weren't, by police. And it was all just done by people. It wasn't like they had some sort of scientific research to figure it out. It was just people would give
it's like the guarded checkpoint pages on Facebook where they tell you where the checkpoints are set up.
Yeah. And then the NBA whole fiasco was a general manager tweeted in support of Hong Kong and was rightly shit on because the NBA has like ties now with China, like very strongly because they're trying to push the NBA. So like the NBA is actually really, really big in China right now, like basketball is. And they got so much backlash that he had to redact his statements. And now you have players that are refusing to, they're not allowed to say anything. No one can say anything about it. And they're trying to recover their relationships with China because all they did was support Hong Kong. And then blah, blah, blah. We'll just read through this real quick. Your company claims to stand by one's right to express individual thoughts and opinions, yet many of your own employees believe that Blizzard's decision to punish Mr. Chung runs counter to those values. Because your company is such a pillar for gaming industry, your disappointing decision could have a chilling effect on gamers who seek to use their platform to promote human rights and basic freedoms. Indeed, many gamers around the world have taken notice of your company's actions, understandably calling for boycotts of Blizzard gaming sites. As China amplifies its campaign of intimidation, you and your company must decide whether to look beyond the bottom line and promote American values, like freedom of speech and thought, or to give in to Beijing's demands in order to preserve market access. We urge you in the strongest terms to reconsider your decision with respect to Mr. Chung. You had the opportunity to reverse course. We urge you to take it. Sincerely, Ron Wyden, Marco Rubio, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Mike Gallagher, and Tom Malinowski. Now, like I said, the reason it's such a big deal is that this is bipartisan by very different, backgrounds, and also it's gaming, and they're involving themselves with something related to gaming.
Yeah, like it's senators involving themselves with gaming, and it's senators that usually wouldn't
deal with each other,
pen a letter together.
And it's crazy because you really see how much. I think this is one of the reasons why Blizzard has refused to say anything, because they see how badly they effed up when they're getting all of this flack. And there are people that have done smaller things, but just haven't gotten as much flack because they didn't double down on it as much as Blizzard has.
Blizzard hasn't even doubled down on it. They doubled down and then doubled down their double down.
And it's because their double downing wasn't even saying oh no, this. I mean, they literally said we'll shorten some stuff, but everything else still stands.
Yeah.
And then they were instead of coming out saying anything about what's going on, they just canceled all their stuff. They refuse to talk about it, and you still, at this moment in time, have heard nothing, even remotely trying to redact some of their statements, and it's just pathetic. It's really, really pathetic.
It really is.
And I think it's such a stark contrast because Kyle, Wizards of the Coast, who are the, creators of Magic the Gathering, are doing an exact 180 of what they're doing.
What Blizzard did is these guys are doing the polar opposite. So, during their Magic the Gathering Mystic Championship 5.
Mythic. Mythic Rare.
Mythic Championship 5. Li Xin-Tian, I believe.
Tian.
Probably butchered that. Openly voiced his support of Hong Kong, and the good old creators were like, alright, go on. They told their moderators, their hosts, pretty much everyone involved to be don't ban people, don't tell people to stop, just don't touch it and allow it to happen.
Yep, he supported the protest by, first he had a red mask over his face and covered one eye, and I think that's something to do with the support of, there was a woman that was shot with, that was a protester in Hong Kong, and she was shot with a beanbag around, and it hit her in the eye.
Yeah.
And it basically, I mean, that not only can permanently damage your eye and your ability to see, but that also can kill a person depending on how that hits you.
Yeah, how close they are when they shot them.
Yeah. So, it was obviously in support of that. And then he came out and said, that he is very, well, let me see here. Life has been very tough in my hometown of Hong Kong. It feels so good to play Magic the Gathering as a free man. So basically it was him saying, wearing the mask, which is obviously support of the protest, and saying that it feels good to be a free man playing Magic the Gathering because Hong Kong's been, and okay, maybe to some people it might not have sounded as radical as Blitzchung, even though Blitzchung just said liberate Hong Kong, revolution, it's the same concept. And this was during a live stream, and moderators during the live stream were actually informed, don't do anything to people that are supporting Hong Kong. Let it happen. There's no reason to try and quell it. Whether they did that because they saw the backlash that Blizzard got or not, obviously they don't care.
Yeah, it was still the right move. It's not a case that they're worried about anything, even if they are doing it just because they're let's make ourselves look good compared to Blizzard. Right, because it's still showing that ultimately they don't give a crap.
Right, because Blizzard, Wizard of the Coast do have investors in China. I mean, I think any business does, but especially a card game like this that has investors in China.
Like, surely their production has strong Chinese basing.
And they just said, whatever, let's allow it to happen. And I think that's what's so weird is that you see companies that have ties that refuse to punish anybody for doing this, whether it be the commenters on the Twitch stream, whether it be the protesters themselves during the live stream. Like, they're like, there's no point. I think what it comes down to is, it's not like this person is coming out and saying, fuck China, they're pieces of shit.
Yeah, it's not inciting anything. It's not trying to encourage violence.
They're not saying, I hate black people. They're not coming out and saying, kill all communists. They're not saying any of that.
It's just a show of support. It's no different than, say at the Oscars last year, someone accepts an award and they go and they just mention, hashtag me too. And then that's it. It's like, that's the extent of it. They're not trying to incite anything.
No, it's literally just showing support for something. And I think that while gaming in of itself is, yes, the focus should be on those sort of like gaming aspects, it's impossible to negate how they have an effect on each other. Yeah. Because the fact that he was, like what he said, the fact that he was there to be able to play is because of the rights that he had to do so. Because in certain countries, you don't have the right to do that.
Yeah. It's like, in some situations, like, you should just, like, this is supposed to be about the game. Let's keep it focused on the game. But to some people, there's no separation there.
And it depends on what level you're going at it with.
Yeah.
And like how you're trying to garner support. I mean, it's not like back when, I think it was Hurricane Katrina went on and you had Kanye West and, Mike Myers on TV asking for donations to help with Hurricane Katrina. And then Kanye West just goes, what did he say? Like, George W. Bush hates black people. You know what I mean? Like, and then being like, doesn't like being like straight against everything and just going straight out and saying things in an incorrect way, despite whether that was true or not.
Yeah.
It's a matter of like how you go about it. These people aren't, like I said, these people aren't going out and saying, fuck China, they're pieces of shit and they're trying to take away our freedoms, they're all garbage.
They're just showing support for the people, and that's it.
The same as, I wouldn't agree with it. Like, look at, okay, first of all, I'll say, people can not agree with people supporting Hong Kong, and they can say, I don't agree with you supporting Hong Kong. I'm on China's side, or I'm on this side. Whatever. You can say that.
You're right.
You can have that, and the same as people can criticize you for having that right. If someone went on and they said, I feel bad for China taking flack for all this stuff, I think that they'd be arguably wrong, but they should be allowed to just give a small little anecdotal sort of opinion like that.
Yeah. If you decide to only listen to your side of a argument or debate, you've already lost. Yeah.
Now, like, just because now you're hearing that side, it doesn't mean you have to agree with it. You can think someone's stupid. Like, I will never agree with, a Nazi's propaganda coming out saying that they support the Aryan race and here are the values. I mean, I might listen like to what they say and then be like, you're stupid and not agree with anything that they say. But it's about,
you still listen to them. You give them the chance to speak.
And I do think there are certain things out there. That's a hard one to say because there are certain things out there that I don't think deserve any right to speak because they're just really spouting nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
the obvious ones.
But at the same time, make your voice louder than theirs. If they want to say that sort of stuff that they really shouldn't say and you don't really support saying, then say the things that you should support and that sound better. You know what I mean? And I think in this case, though, this isn't even a matter of that. This is simply a matter of Wizards of the Coast knew that someone having 5 minutes of time even to support something that is kind of a big deal. Like, it's a really big deal.
It's huge.
Is, because it's more than what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
It is democracy. It is, like the people's choice, but it's also the fact that Hong Kong has been inside of it's been its own thing pretty much, even though it's been part of China. It's its own thing.
It's been its own little like social and cultural bubble
for so long. And now you're literally having like a country try to just say, all right, that lease is up on that now, and now you're ours though. And now this is ours, and you need to start doing things that we do because you're always part of us. Like, China has never even really recognized Hong Kong as its own state, you know what I mean? Like, as its own thing, because they've always said, well, that's ours.
It's like, the good analogy I'd use is that you're leasing an apartment from someone. To you, the apartment is yours. But to them, the apartment is still theirs. And then after a few years, they just move into the apartment beside you and go, well, too bad.
I would say it's even worse than that. It'd be like, you're renting a condo, right? Like someone owns a condo, right? The condo owner. And then they say, here, you can rent out this condo. And then, for all intents and purposes, you buy the condo. You make the condo better. You do it up. You fix up. You make it great and everything like that.
Yeah.
But there's rules in place that even though you bought the condo and you made it nicer and you made it a better place and you made it have all this stuff, that condo will go back to them in 15 years.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And instead of being like, well, let's just let them be their own thing because the condo, they already own it. They already paid for it all. They've done it up nice. They're doing their own thing great. Everybody sees benefit from it. Instead of allowing that to happen, you're like, that condo is mine though, and I'm going to go in there and I'll let you live there and I'll let you call yourself what you want, but I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put whatever I want in that condo. And I'm going to take anything out that I want in that condo. And I'm going to do anything that involves that condo is going to be something that I will allow. Even though you've owned it and done all the stuff with it and made it nicer and made it better, I'm going to do what I want instead. And it's just so much more because you're having a whole like way of life potentially being changed into something else. It'd be like if the US all of a sudden gained control of Canada. Like, functionally, you would think, oh no, it's fine. It's not that bad, right? I mean, like, it's all North America. It's all fine.
It's all the one landmass anyway.
They have like similar ideals in some things, and the people are similar. It's all fine, right? Except for the fact that like Canada's system has a bunch of differences compared to the US.
Yeah.
Namely healthcare being one.
The biggest probably.
You have like certain like just differences in how the economy is run in general. You have people are different and stuff like that. It'd be like, but just saying because sometime in the past we found out a way, like a loophole to be able to get a hold of Canada now. It's like, oh, but it's fine because you were a part of like North America and that's fine, right? It's like, no, that's not like,
not how it works.
It wouldn't be an easy transition, and Canada would fight tooth and nail to prevent that from happening.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And just as Hong Kong should. So,
and when something like that happens, you'd have anyone who has any kind of claim to it kind of say their piece.
Yeah.
And then it just leads to larger conflicts and it's just chaos. And that's pretty much what's happening.
Right now, it's a big old clusterfuck, really. Yeah. And you have to just let people speak their minds. And I think final talking piece, unless something like really big comes up again, I think that this probably would be our ending of the topic, because we talked about like 3 weeks straight now, and I feel like it's starting to get like, we get it.
Unless something big happens.
Oh, I think for final statements, I'll say Blizzard, just fucking backpedal already. Just backpedal and go back and say, we're sorry, we made mistakes, everything's overturned, here are the rules now that you could follow. We have investors in China. We're worried about that, and we made a huge mistake. Be done with it. That's what I think needs to happen, or you're gonna have worse and worse happen.
Yeah, but we think we all know that's probably not gonna happen.
No, and it makes me really worried because,
especially with this next topic, you can kind of guess where they're probably gonna go with this.
So, Kyle, and this next topic is about Diablo 4.
Diablo 4.
Now, they talked about how it was in the work last year after the whole Diablo Immortal fiasco, and literally shitting on the fans.
Yeah.
By not having any big announcement, having a big old Diablo thing go on, have this big huge event, and then have this
and show nothing.
And then literally just put out a mobile game, and then shit on everybody for being upset that it was a mobile game after it's been 6 years or 7 years since Diablo 3 came out and never getting anything meaningful.
Yeah. And since then we've had a few leaks as well that kind of hint at Diablo 4's imminent arrival.
Kind of been like, there's been a leak from a guy that leaked other stuff about, I want to say, I think it was Overwatch or something else like that. He came out and gave more leaks to the person that's like been leaking it.
Yeah.
And it was basically saying Diablo 4 is going to be coming out. They're going to announce that as well as something else. I can't remember what it was, but so we heard something about that.
But there's been a bit of that seems like a bit of a slip up.
A little bit more of a slip up now.
Yeah. So they have an art book coming out called The Art of Diablo. And in the ad for it, they mention how it will contain art from, quote, Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and Diablo 4.
Now, you could say, like, oh, they've just made a mistake because they just, like, assuming things, whatever. They haven't finished, doing it. But first of all, this book is out on November 3rd. So it's out in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, like, it's not long away.
Or about 2 weeks, actually. And,
like, the book's finished by now. It's been printed, stocked up. And...
Of course. And it seems like it was a slip up, and at the same time, maybe it was intentional. I mean, like, I think the point that I was getting at, though, is that you could say that maybe they accidentally put Diablo 4 without them actually knowing about it because it was just the advertisement had it wrong or something, and they just assumed.
Yeah, but something like this kind of slipping a couple of weeks before BlizzCon.
And then within a week of there being another major leak from someone that's already leaked stuff before.
Yeah.
And then also us knowing that Diablo 4 has been talked about and been in the works.
And in the same week, apparently leaks coming out that an Overwatch 2, or at least an Overwatch Chapter 2 is in the works.
Oh yeah, I don't think we talked about that, but that was the other part of the leak was Overwatch 2 or something
along the lines.
To that. And so what we've got is that Diablo 4 is more than likely going to be announced at 2019 BlizzCon. Now, the reason they haven't confirmed Diablo 4 was apparently, according to like the reporters and stuff and any information that they got, was that it was rebooted in 2016, the whole development of it, because this obviously has had to been in some sort of works for several years, because Diablo 3 came out in like 2011.
After they released Diablo 3, there was probably a year of nothing, and then after that they would have went into development again.
And we've expected some sort of, because they haven't, the reason why is because there's only ever been one sort of real expansion for Diablo, and that was Reaper of Souls, and for Diablo 3 rather, and it's made people think, well, if you only made that and there hasn't been anything else since then, surely it's because you plan on releasing something. Well, apparently, it got rebooted in 2016 because the initial version was looking more like a Dark Souls sort of game than it was a Diablo game, which, cool enough if you were to have a spin-off game, but that's not what Diablo is.
Yeah, if it was like, not Diablo 4, but like Diablo whatever.
Yeah, Diablo Souls.
Yeah, Diablo Souls, and it's just, Dark Souls with Diablo.
So,
which is not just Dark Souls anyways, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, really, it really is. But so that's apparently why it wasn't confirmed. But I mean, after shitting on the fans last year, I think they knew that they were gonna have to at least give an announcement that something is going on this year. So they did say we were working on Diablo 4 after all the controversy. You know what? The last like 2 years has been nothing but controversy for Blizzard, hasn't it?
It really has.
Everything that they've done has just been not good. And you know what? I hate to say this is the reason why, but it's ever since they partnered with Activision, and it's not because of Activision, I'm gonna say it's because when they partnered with Activision, a whole slew of people left.
Oh yeah, a massive amount of people left.
A whole slew of like original Blizzard employees left.
A lot of the creative team left as well, didn't they?
And it was because they didn't want to because they didn't think that they would need to be a part of such a huge corporation, because they didn't agree with Activision as a corporation, and because they just had spent a lot of time there, and they were like, well, this is our chance to leave, and we'll just get
Yeah, didn't a bunch
packages.
Didn't a bunch of them leave to like Epic Games or something?
Yeah,
I think I remember seeing that a bunch of them went to Epic. There was someone from CD Projekt Red that went to Epic as well with them.
Yeah. So basically, though, what it sounds like is that because of this art book slip up, it's even more confirmation that BlizzCon, which is going to be around
November 1st and 2nd,
is going to have some sort of announcement for Diablo 4. And I think our takeaway on this was Blizzard is just going to be super quiet. They're not going to do any events up until then, and they're going to hope that these announcements are going to garner back in their favor. Release Diablo 4. Talk about how you have a new MMORPG or something in the works. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah.
Overwatch 2, World of Warcraft 2.
Flood them with like really big, massive announcements and hope that people forget about all the crap that's gone on the past couple of weeks.
And you know what? It's probably going to work.
It more than likely will.
And whatever. I mean, that's just like the way the world is in general. It's not just gaming. It's not just Blizzard. It's everybody. The minute something else takes precedence is when it starts being
they're going to ignore the issue and then bury it under spectacle.
I just hope that we at least force them, that you have enough protests at the BlizzCon, and that we at least force them to say
something. Anything.
I would like a sorry. I think a sorry to Hong Kong would be, and to people who support it would be fine. You don't have to come out
even if they don't have to like specify exactly an apology to Hong Kong and the people who support it. They should just say apologies to everyone involved
that we've shit on. Literally, say we just want to give our like massive apologies to everyone that we've shit on in the last month, and I think that would be at least even if it's disingenuous, at least you're putting that you made a mistake out there.
You're still putting your hands up and going sorry.
Yeah, it's like that South Park like episode where they have the ad and they're like, we're sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. But at least a sorry, though.
It's
like, at
something.
Least all these major corporations at least put out a fucking sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that they couldn't put out a sorry to say that they made a mistake, even in their letter where they redacted what they did to Blitzchung, there wasn't a single apology.
It was just like, yeah, we're doing this, but we're not doing this. Bye.
Yeah. So, we may not have evaluated the situation right, but so we'll change that, but that's it.
Yeah.
So, Diablo 4, let's hope it does come out, but let's also hope an apology comes out.
We'll probably talk about that week.
Right.
Probably be a talking topic if there's anything of note announced. Even if there's nothing of note announced, it'll be a talking topic, because it'll be like, why didn't they announce anything?
Yeah, probably. Another topic that probably won't have too much to talk about, but we thought was interesting was...
It's very interesting, actually.
Xbox expanding gamer tags to give you any name you want, free to change for the first time. Now, what that means is, if you're not familiar with it, Battle.net, talk about Blizzard one more time, Battle.net has a system in place where you basically choose whatever name you want, but then it assigns a series of random numbers at the end of it that for some things it shows, and for other, like for the main things it shows as an identifier for you, but for most things it keeps hidden, because for one, it's like account security, and for two, it allows you to have multiple names that are the same in different regions.
Yeah.
But be different
still
ending
distinct
numbers. So you can still be like,
you can have 4 people named Cody F1, Cody FZ.
Yeah.
And you could have 4 of them, all named Cody FZ.
Or like 4 people named, Kyle's a little bitch,
Yeah.
And you can have all that.
That's a common one, actually.
And it is really common. I see it all the time with my own eyes. And, so Xbox is expanding it, and you're getting a free change for the first time to take hold of that. I think this is really cool.
I think it's actually very awesome.
I think more platforms that have these sort of account names are going to do this, because it's the only way to allow enough like username space for everybody. Because
there's nothing worse than like, okay, I've got this username. It's a really good username. I want that, but it's taken. And you just don't get to use it. Whereas now it's like, oh, I want this username. Doesn't matter if someone else has it. You'll just get your own little special serial number.
Exactly. And you can feel very special while you do it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can head over to social.xbox.com, and there should be an option somewhere over there that you can click on.
You go to your gamer tag options, it'll be there.
So everybody, make your name the Geek Cause, and we'll just spread around all the cheer to everybody.
We will
Wait, is there enough for that?
Like a cancer.
It's 12 characters.
Yeah, exactly 12.
It's exactly 12. Perfect. That's what I'm gonna do.
Might stick a GC in there.
The GC Kyle.
The GC sexy one.
Oh, that's weird that you're gonna take, the envision of me as your name.
Oh, really?
That's fine.
Fine. If you're the looks, then I'm the humor.
You're right, because that was pretty funny. So, saddle up everybody, because Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer is 4K and 60 FPS and looks amazing.
It looks sexy as hell.
Not really much to say other than...
It looks great.
If you watch the trailer, it looks really great. My only concern, as I was talking to Kyle about, is how much of the trailer is actual in-game footage. He claims that most of it probably is in-game.
I say a lot of, the dynamic landscape shots are probably pre-rendered stuff, but a lot of the,
character models and stuff like that are hard to...
They're
hard to kind of, fake in that way without you noticing...
That if they looked any worse, it's not worth the upgrade kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be able to, apparently, I'm stupid. It's running on PC. So it's definitely going to be, it's definitely going to be able to run, 60 FPS.
Yeah.
And which is automatically going to make the game look amazingly better because 60, you wouldn't think it, but 30 to 60, there is a big jump.
Oh, it's such a huge difference.
Now, if you're looking at 30 to 40 or anything from about 25 to, I would even say 45, you don't really notice too much of a difference in smoothness, except for if it's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
But 60 FPS compared to the 30 FPS, especially when the game already looks good, is going to make the game look nuts. Now, Xbox One X and PS4 Pro versions didn't have that option, so people are going to be able to see the game for what it probably should have been.
Probably. What a lot of people tend to think when games are released on PC, it's how they should look. When a game's released on PC, people expect, that's how it was supposed to look. That when it was in development, that's the vision they had of it.
Well, because, the games are made on PC, right?
Yeah.
And even if the game isn't a PC, release, I think that people just have to remember that PC, though, is gonna be superior, and that's kind of what the games, even if the game's made specifically only for console and they port it to PC, the PC port, if it ends up bad, it's bad because it's a port of the console version, not because the game wasn't created in a right way and PC version is bad.
The thing is, every game is created on a PC, and how they do it is that it's okay, this is a PC, but we're going to simulate the performance of a console to make it. So it's a PC, a powerful PC, just simulating a console.
It's a lot of reasons. Well, that's
which is why when you port it, it tends to be quite janky and different because you're trying to undo what you've done already, and it's a lot of picking out and putting in, and
a lot of the things too is you have to remember when you're doing these sort of things is that they don't. That's why when these games come out, sometimes they see unforeseen consequences, because the frame rate maybe isn't as good as they thought it was going to be because they only did a simulation of what it was going to be. I would assume that a lot of these probably run on some sort of virtual machine and they give it the specs of what the consoles are.
Yeah.
So you can have the same specs as a console. You can have this video card with this CPU in it and this hard drive, and you can say, you can put it on a virtual machine on a computer and be like, oh, this is what a console is like and the power of what a console would be. But because the console infrastructure and the architecture is different with how it sets up, even in a comparison,
it doesn't mean
virtualizing on a computer,
perform the same way.
So that's why you usually will see why? How did you not notice that there was a huge massive FPS dip? And it's because when we actually got the game out and then played it on the console after virtualizing it on the PC, it only did it then.
Yeah, that's why they play test games.
So, anyways, though, man, we get off on random tangents.
We really do.
So easily. It looks great. It comes out November 5th, so everyone, if you're looking forward to that, it does look amazing, and at the very least, check it out just for the looks.
Honestly, yeah.
Is this not gonna be on Game Pass?
I don't know. Probably not.
Why not?
Because Rockstar doesn't like Xbox.
Alright, well then fair enough. Well, fuck you, Xbox.
Oh, that's mean. So, moving on from PC to something a little stranger. Something you know more about probably. So a US store called Five Below.
Where everything in it is $5 and under. Who would have guessed?
Never would have guessed.
And it's a store that's a lot of... This is just heads up for everyone before Kyle continues on with what's going on. Five Below, it's a shop. Everything's $5 or less. It's got a lot of novelty stuff, but it also has like toys, like some clothing, like headphones. Like you could buy like a really shitty like mouse for your computer, snacks, drinks, like weird stuff. Like there's a whole section in like one of them that I've been to that has Japanese candy.
It's the type of store that you go into to get one thing and you come out with a box of those, like, what's it, Pocky?
Yeah.
You come out with a box of those, bottle of Mountain Dew, a rake, and a new monitor.
No.
And a duvet.
Yeah, like pretty much. It's like a, do you have Spencer's in Ireland?
I don't think so.
Like a Spencer's gift shop? Do you have like you have Hot Topic, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Hot Topic, but if you took away the gothiness of it and just made everything Five Below. Okay, everyone knows what Wish is.
Yeah.
Imagine if you made Wish in real life. That's what a Five Below is.
If Wish met a retail store, it'd be Five Below.
So
Five Below are expanding their venture into esports.
Okay. Odd, right?
Extremely odd. This even took me off guard. And
practically a dollar store.
And I'm used to odd because I hang out with you, so if this took me off guard, then it says a lot.
Yeah, you get it in. Get it in, Kyle.
Just twist the knife.
Just remember whose house you're in and how easily I can kill you.
Really?
After the podcast is over.
I'd like to see you try.
That is not
That's incriminating evidence.
It's not admitting of anything. I'm just saying.
If I disappear, it's him.
Anyways,
they're venturing into esports. So they'll begin small with several stores in 2020, which will be having sections of them with, 30 to 40 PCs set up?
Yeah, 30 to 50.
30 to 50, sorry.
PCs for video gaming. And it's crazy because they have, apparently there are 100 Five Below stores with about 3,000 square feet that it just isn't being used. Which is
mad.
I mean, that's house size. That's a nice house size.
Yeah.
And, having 30 to 50 personal computers that you can pay at, it's going to be an hourly rate. They haven't decided exactly what it's going to be yet. But to play games.
We could probably guess it's going to be $5 or less.
Okay. So you're looking at it and you think, all right, well, what does it have to do with esports? And you're right, because basically what it's going to be is you can go there, you can pay money, and you can play games. But according to the CEO, he's trying to make it so it's more orientated towards esports. So he wants to have like where maybe you could spend a certain amount of money and you like rent it out for an esport event. So you're looking at, he said tournaments or leagues would cost $35 to $100. So that's pretty good. Even $100 to host a league is really, really good.
Like if you're paying $100 to get access to 50 PCs.
Now,
that's pretty damn good.
What this says to me is that they're trying to compete with GameStop.
Yeah, GameStop's new little venture.
Which is funny because I actually, as odd as it sounds with Five Below, like some sort of like, discount seller going into this venture,
yeah,
you'd think it'd be bad. But first of all, the market for Five Below already kind of panders to teens and like younger adults that are into small, interesting, dumb little things.
And as a company, they seem to do fairly well. I've seen something about them making like 1.3 billion in 2018.
Yeah, they're making good money, but also when it comes to their demographic, it also is interesting because when it comes to the gaming and the esports part of it, they are well more in tune to sell their additional stuff that they have going on with it. Because at GameStop, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go and play games, right? And I'm gonna sit down and play games or have like a league happen at GameStop.
Yeah.
And then I'll buy a game afterwards. Maybe I want to play that game. And it works. It's cool. But now imagine going here, because we talked about this before, that GameStop would need to do this if they open this up.
Oh yeah.
And they already have snacks here. They have drinks for when you're playing. They have, like little candies that you can get. They have chips. They have other little things that you can get.
Like things you'd want to get when you're sitting down to play a video game. It's already there.
I mean, I don't know what you're gonna need when you're there, but you can buy a mouse for your computer. You can buy a cheap keyboard.
Yeah.
You can get little, like, dumb things that might, like, maybe a little headset or earphones, so that way you have something that you find more comfortable while you're playing.
Yeah.
You have all that stuff there already. You would think that this wouldn't match to a game, like a game center already, but that place, yes, you're gonna go there and buy games, but how often is someone gonna go and be like, I'm gonna watch this person play a game, and then I'm gonna buy a game so I can sit here and watch them play this game, or so I can watch this E-League tournament, or while I play this E-League tournament, I'm gonna buy the game so I can sit down and play it that's already installed here, and then go home and play it.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's still something that, like, it's good for GameStop to do.
And would work well and would draw in people,
But for this place that already has its market in stuff that people that play games will want to buy and, like, eat and drink and do stuff with, it's actually not the worst idea. It's
actually pretty smart.
So they're saying that a lot of the details have to be worked out because the ink is still drying on the deal, but it is an official deal. It says that, the company that, like, the part of it that's, like, kind of partnering with them and doing the sort of gaming side of it is called Nerd Street, I believe. And they've already invested $12 million for the first round into it. And Nerd Street themselves have raised a total of $13.9 million to go towards the financing of this project.
Which is probably more than enough.
So it looks really interesting. We're gonna have to keep our eyes open, see like what goes on with this if we hear any more details come out. But I think it's a good idea. I think the more we get people into E-League, like, and having esports, imagine instead of just having like a soft, like, you know, here you have, obviously it's like rugby and it's the GA and
the GA.
And then you have, back home it'd be like baseball, softball, usually, maybe something else, like, I guess, tennis or leagues, some sort of other sport. Yeah. Now imagine in these places we also have E-Leagues going on though. So then you have like, cause a lot of those places in the area will sponsor them, right? Yeah. So like you'll be like, oh, we have softball teams. You go to a business like, can you sponsor our softball team? Cause it's like $100 to get in. You pay for that and then we'll wear your name on our shirts. Yeah. And maybe you help pay for the shirts or stuff like that. And then you get free advertisement for us walking around with saying like, we're the McDonald's Macaneers or something. Well, imagine for E-League having that on a local level. So you can be like, oh, you know, here's, the Burger King, Bandits, E-League team inside your home city playing League of Legends.
I can see it now, like a League of Legends esports team sponsored by Brady's Ham. I can see it. I can see it where they all walk out. It's a bunch of Irish lads from Kildare with a ham that they put down in the middle of their table, and it's like their mascot.
And they take little bites out of it every time.
As they go, like
every time they win.
Like they pass it along and just take a bite out of this whole ham. and it's like not even cooked, or it is cooked, but it's like cold. Yes. It's like been left out for a day.
Cold ham. But yeah, cool. We'll keep our eyes peeled on that, and if anything else comes out with it, we'll be sure to let you guys know.
Oh, definitely. So, moving on from something very weird to something quite anticipated and quite emotional, frankly. The final trailer for Star Wars Episode 9.
I apologize to you guys, but this is going to be just like the last trailer for Star Wars that we had, where I'm not watching it, and I'm not talking about it, and Kyle's not talking about it. He can just give some information of what he thinks about the trailer.
I'll give some information, but without actually spoiling anything.
If you want to hear any spoilers, message him, or take a message to one of our social medias, comment, do something, but I don't want to see it.
Yeah, just keep it away from Cody or he'll cry. He cries enough as is.
Yeah, exactly. Every day.
So yeah.
Working with Kyle.
Yeah. So, new trailer was released on Monday. I'll say off the bat, if you are one of those people that like to watch trailers in case of spoilers, like the last Star Wars trailer, I'd take a wide breath of this one. You see a lot of stuff in it. That probably would give away some plot points. If you took the 3 main trailers all together, you'd have a pretty good idea of what the movie is. Pretty much. If you pieced all 3 trailers together,
the main parts of the movie, probably.
You could probably predict the entire thing.
Ugh.
at this point. But yeah, so you see the trailer, there's some spectacular visuals in it, as you'd expect from Star Wars. You see, your cast, as you would expect. Swelling music, Star Wars theme, some text, it's like for the final time. Very much going hard with the idea that this is the last of the Skywalkers. Which kind of, pulls on your heart a little bit. Like, even though you're watching this and you're going, why are they showing me this? Why couldn't they just wait to the movie to show me this? You're still kind of going, oh, this is kind of emotional. A little tear to your eye. But yeah, it looks interesting enough. I say the second trailer, the one before this, was better. It's a better trailer. Yeah, this was a pretty lackluster trailer, but...
In terms of what? Not showing enough? Or it showed too much, but it didn't have good enough?
It showed quite a bit, but what it showed wasn't good enough for a trailer.
So it
was more of like a sizzle reel than a trailer. So
it's like it gave, spoilers or plot points, but not even the good parts of them. So it was like...
Yeah.
You saw something that maybe you're like, oh, I could have been expecting... Like, I could have like been surprised by that. But then when you got surprised by seeing the trailer, you're like, but it wasn't even good surprise. It's
like you're seeing snippets of a scene in this trailer, but then you go, but I seen something more impressive and better and spoilery from that same scene in the last trailer. So this just means less to me now.
It'd be like if when they episode 6 came out and they had Darth Vader, right? No, sorry. It'd be like when the episode 4 or 1, however you want to say it, came out. And, like, it showed Darth Vader, and you're like, oh, a bad guy, Darth Vader, right? But, like, the scene that it showed him, it was, like, him just, like, walking casually, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's it? That's how I see him? I see that's the villain by just him walking casually down the walkway?
That's it, yeah. It's a lot of, like, running. That's what I'll say. There's a lot of running in this trailer. There's a lot of people running with lightsabers. And a lot of people staring at each other edgily with lightsabers. And it's just kind of like, but there was cooler stuff in the other ones.
Right.
That's how it is.
So would you say that this is a necessity to watch if you're, like, interested in wanting to see the movie? And you don't mind the spoilers?
If you don't mind the spoilers, I'd say go. Pretty much, if you've watched the last trailer, I'd say you may as well watch this one. You're not going to really learn anything you don't already know at this point.
Okay. So, all in all,
if you don't care, watch it. It's still a good trailer. Will pull on your heart a little bit. Some cool things you want to theorize about. But if you don't like spoilers, stay as far away from it as you can.
Alright, sounds good, and I'll do just that.
You do just that, Cody.
And on to the final topic of today.
Continuing on from last week, where we talked about the Catwoman cast for Matt Reeves' Batman, we now have our Riddler.
Now, we had originally thought that this was going to be Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
There's a lot of speculation.
Was in long talks to supposedly play the part of Riddler. It's now speculated that those deals, well, we know those deals have fallen apart. Jonah Hill is out. It's speculated it's because he was asking for so much money.
I mean, we kind of talked about that before, that him asking for twice as much as Robert Pattinson made sense in terms of, like, popularity of the actor in recent years.
Yeah.
But it didn't make sense in terms of why would you make more than the main...
In the scale of the people, it made sense, but in the scale of the movie, it didn't.
No, not at all. Especially because Batman... It wasn't even like a Joker character. It was like the Riddler, which people are like really don't care that much
gives
about.
A crap about.
In a general sense.
Yeah. But yeah. He was out supposedly because of that. And then not long after, it was announced that Paul Dano was in talks to take the role of the Riddler. And about 15 minutes after that, he was cast.
So Paul Dano was in, he was in Swiss Army Man.
Yeah,
he was in There Will Be Blood.
Yeah,
I Drink Your Milkshake.
Yeah, he was Eli the Preacher.
Yep. He
was in Little Miss Sunshine.
He played a couple things.
Prisoners.
Now I guess he kind of looks like he could play the role of the Riddler. I don't see it too far off, I suppose.
How I describe him as is that he's the type of actor who'll play a character who's very egotistical and cocky and thinks they're better than everyone around them, but is introverted and won't speak up and will kind of keep to themselves. And when they do kind of speak up, you kind of look at them and turn your head and go, huh? which is pretty much the Riddler in a nutshell. He's over extravagant because he doesn't know how to be. He's extremely introverted, so when he has to act out, he's like, oh, I'll be like this. But it just comes across as really awkward.
I'll be really goofy.
Yeah, because
but in his mind he thinks he's being
like really like charming and charismatic. So
okay. I mean I don't know. I guess I'll have to see how it goes. I feel like I'm just so used to Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Yeah.
Which is just like so out there.
It's so
all I think about is like a goofy Riddler. So
with
when I
a
think
tight spandex suit.
So when I didn't like that. But when I think about Paul Dano, him and like, is it gonna be, this movie's probably gonna be more serious than I want it to be. So having the Riddler is gonna mean that
it's supposed to be a very grounded detective movie.
And he doesn't look like he'd be goofy anyways. Like he doesn't seem like he's like the guy to be very funny, like outwardly funny.
Yeah.
He's more of like a,
he's more of a serious actor.
Like a serious actor with like that kind of uncomfortability though, or it can be like goofy.
Yeah.
But like, so
unintentionally goofy.
I feel like this is just going to be a very, very serious movie, and I'm not opposed to that when it comes to like comic books and stuff like that. As long as like it has some of like the,
that's a good balance.
Yes,
there's moments of levity in it, so it's not too overbearing.
Yeah, because it's going to be really hard to have a Batman where you don't have any sort of levity to it, because Batman, like all comic books, pretty much have at least an air of levity to it, and when you get rid of it, you have stuff like when the first Superman came out, like for the for DC, like for Sony, like when they first released the Superman, the first one with what's his name in it, the newer one that they
Henry Cavill.
Yes, and then they did Batman v Superman, and then even the beginnings at first with Justice League. Apparently, like all of the trailers and stuff like that initially, because of how Zack Snyder does his work, they were just dark and didn't have a lot of humor to them. They weren't enjoyable. Like the first test screening of I think it was Batman v Superman apparently was like not good.
Yeah,
from what I heard, apparently it was like not like it was just very. It was like purposely made too serious for something that should have been not as serious, because it's a Batman v Superman. Like the whole air of that is that one guy's a immortal god and the other one's just like a dude. Yeah. There has to be some humor to that.
Like it doesn't even have to be like overly jokey, just moments of levity in it where the tension is lifted for a minute.
But that's
5 minutes where it's lifted off and gives you a chance to breathe.
That's apparently why that was like had like the sort of reshoots and redones to it.
Yeah, that's why all of those movies were cut up, is because they were all a little bit too heavy.
Yeah, like, and like, not even in a good way. Not like this is dark and it's made dark. It was like
Joker was dark and it was serious, but it had those moments where it was just kind of lighthearted.
Yes. And it became that way because of how it was shot well.
Yeah, and it worked.
Not like, we're gonna make it dark to be dark, and then we're gonna make it funny
and then we're gonna shoehorn these comedy scenes in and then turn it into a big mess.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. Especially with, Robert Pattinson's latest interview about Batman. If you've seen that.
No.
So pretty much he was asked, like, what does he think of it? What does he think of playing a hero? And he was like, well, first of all, I don't think Batman's a hero. He was like, to do something like that, there has to be something initially morally wrong with you. That he isn't a hero, that he does good things, but there's something wrong there.
Yeah. Well, realistically, he's like a vigilante. Batman's a vigilante, and there's certain things that he does that goes against what most people would consider good morals.
Yeah. Which Robert Pattinson seems to recognize, which makes me curious to see how he's going to portray the Bat.
Right. We'll have to wait and see. It's at least
still a long time off.
We got 2 years before we see anything, so there's not much we can say now.
Production's supposed to start in the next 2 months, I think, end of November.
And then if everything goes good, that's 2 years. You know what I mean? There's always a case something can happen and it gets pushed back a little bit. So
you never know with DC, they might not even come out in the end.
We'll have to wait and see. But so far, it looks like with the cast of actors we have, Robert Pattinson,
Zoe Kravitz,
Paul Dano, Zoe Kravitz, and
Jeffrey Wright.
Yep, it's
interesting. It's different.
It's gonna be good. And real quick, because I just saw this, we're gonna end it there, but I'm gonna take 2 seconds to say, in case you haven't seen it, they did do a little bit of a first look at the rework for the Sonic movie.
Oh yes, I've seen this. I forgot to.
And we didn't write it down because it's like a lot of the stuff isn't that big, but the rework with a small little like testing that we got, like just like a little like showing of an image, a little flash of an image.
Yeah.
It's 1,000,000% better.
Oh, it's like what we see now. It's like he has his quote unquote one giant eye.
Trademark nose.
His proportions are like in the games.
Yes, it's just everything is just better.
It's perfect.
And no matter what anybody says, I think everything else about the movie was fine.
I think
good enough. It was going to be cheesy. It's going to be lame. And Jim Carrey's going to make it stupid. But that's good.
That's good. That's what they're going for.
The worst part about it was the CGI, and the CGI was horrendous. And now it looks good. So I just wanted to bring that up real quick because I just saw an ad for it, and it sounded like I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I forgot. So that's all we have for you on this week of the Geek Cause podcast. Surprisingly enough, I don't think that was the longest podcast that we've ever done.
No.
It's been the shortest one in quite a while.
Actually, yeah, we're only reaching an hour and a half just now.
So, give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Join our Discord server. We have a YouTube channel that things are finally, I got fixed, so things are gonna start posting on there now.
Yeah, I've seen all the emails going through of like you putting in tickets for stuff.
Yeah, I was pissed. I'm like sitting there, and then my sister goes, why haven't you gotten anything on YouTube? And I was like, what are you talking about? It should be auto posting. I was like, I haven't been doing the due diligence of making sure that it's kept up to look amazing, but I know that it's on there. And I look, and it's like 3 or 4 episodes missing because they just weren't auto posting. And I was like, what the hell? I had to contact them because they didn't have it, something looked up right. And then they were like, we fixed it. They didn't even tell me anything about it.
They just like, okay, we fixed it, man.
Which is funny enough. Yeah. Since I'm studying in IT support, one of the biggest things they tell you is that when you're helping someone with a problem, the last thing you want to do is to just be like, hey, I fixed it. And then just do that. You want to give the problem of like, give a sort of outlook of what's going on. So that way they can be like, oh, okay. So there was an issue with that. Even if you don't care, you at least should like kind of give it.
Oh yeah. It's like,
all they said to me was like, this is fixed now. Thanks for contacting us. If you have any other questions. And I'm just like,
yeah, you should go, oh, this is fixed now.
It was an issue with the issue was just server. The issue with blah, 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 whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, thanks for telling me that, I guess. Now, if it happens again, I just have to contact you and...
It's not something that I can try to troubleshoot myself, if you could just tell me.
So, whatever. It's taken care of. You'll be seeing it on YouTube again now. So, The last episode 16 was posted on there, beautifully. So, we're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast, Podbean. We're everywhere. So please, guys, give us a like, give us a follow, share our stuff. We've been getting good numbers lately. Love. So we appreciate that. If you have anything you want to ask us or anything you want to say or any topics you want us to talk about, let us know.
Or even if you just want to bully Cody.
Yeah. If you want to bully Kyle, make sure that you just go ahead and do that, like he said. So thank you guys so much for listening. We love you.
You're the best.
We appreciate you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.